So after all, this will allow you for you to get used to the way the Syringremover works. It is also recommended to avoid applying the Syringremover. So do a patch test first in order to understand how the product works, and then you actually use it as intended. There are two main ingredients. One is glycolic acid and the second is vitamin A. Apply a blob on every Syringoma. The other person can help you in case you need anything, like bringing you water or whatever else you may need. In this video, we're going to do a readout of the page called How to Apply the Syringremover. The Syringremover is applied using a small makeup brush or cotton earbud directly onto your Syringoma, taking particular care not to get it in contact with your eyes. There are two main ingredients. One is glycolic acid and the second is vitamin A. Apply a blob on every Syringoma. It is important to apply a small blob to leave it on the Syringoma for a period of time. It is always advisable to have someone else to apply the Syringremover for you. Notwithstanding the safety of using the Syringremover, we always advise our customers to be overcautious and apply the Syringremover, as little Syringremover as possible at the first time it is used. Basically, if you actually read the instructions, we say clearly in the instructions to perform patch tests, which is actually on this website, syringomaremote.com. We have published the instructions. So do a patch test first in order to understand how the product works, and then you actually use it as intended. After all, this will allow you to get used to the way the Syringremover works exactly, but this is what we mean actually there. Just before there, what we mean is that you've got to do patch tests, and then if you want to know how to do them, you don't even have to buy the product. You find the instructions on our website, syringomaremote.com, so you'll still be able to read the instructions on how to do the patch tests. And the patch tests are designed for you to understand how the product works on your skin. So after all, this will allow you for you to get used to the way the Syringremover works. It is also recommended to avoid applying the Syringremover onto your healthy skin. The Syringremover should only be applied to the Syringomas. In case the Syringremover is accidentally applied onto your normal skin, just wipe it off. This will stop the peeling effects. Basically, you shouldn't be as worried about that, because many people have applied it without petroleum jelly. What we mean is just apply petroleum jelly. If you watch this video, we're actually telling you how to apply the Syringremover with petroleum jelly, and it didn't actually cause any problems whatsoever. Since the Syringremover is developed for home use, there is no need to rush the cosmetic treatment, because the Syringremover can be applied as many times as needed until you are satisfied with the results. During the cosmetic treatment with the Syringremover, it is strongly recommended to avoid sun exposure. If sun exposure cannot be avoided due to the work commitments when outside, walk in the shade and wear very dark sunglasses. Now, the point is that you've got to avoid sun exposure like as if you were a vampire, because one of the side effects of using glycolic acid and other cosmetic peels is that you may develop hyperpigmentation during the regeneration process of your skin, and that applies to any skin, any skin types, especially skin types 3 and 4. So be very cautious and try to avoid sun exposure at least for 2 to 3 months after the last application of the Syringremover on your skin. No other creams should be applied on to the area around the eyes throughout the duration of the treatment. This is because basically the scabbing effect, that could cause some problems in the scabbing. It's not as if some creams can actually cause infections, but the scabbing will be delayed, the healing progression will be delayed, and that could cause problems. So when you use this product, do not use any other products up until the scabs are formed and fallen off on their own accord. Once you are satisfied with the results and the treatment is finished, you then makeup can be worn 2 weeks after the last Syringremover application. Also, the other thing is, once the scabs are fallen off, always apply sunscreen, total sunscreen. Better if it's physical sunscreen other than chemical. We can use either. Also, for the period of 2 to 3 months after a Syringoma removal treatment, total sunscreen must be applied to the area around the eyes before going in the sun. We advise our customers not to sunbathe for a minimum period of 3 months after the last use of the Syringremover. Additionally, throughout the treatment with the Syringremover, strictly no makeup should be worn. Although very unlikely, wearing makeup could cause unnecessary complications that can be easily avoided. Also, avoiding wearing makeup speeds up the natural skin recovery process. Makeup can be regularly worn 2 weeks after the last treatment, the last application. Because basically, if you apply makeup during the scabbing process, basically the scabbing and the healing will be delayed, and you can get some problems. On average, 2 applications are more than enough to achieve complete removal, but that really depends on how you apply the Syringremover, because the longer you apply the Syringremover, the deeper the ablation effects. So the longer you apply it for, the lesser the applications you required. So it really depends on how you apply the product. However, since you have a lot of Syringremover with you, you can repeat the treatment. After all, we supply 30 ml with your order, which will last for a whole year. If you are not sure, you can always ask us. We are here to help you. Our recommendation: depending on the Syringoma, type of formulation and skin type, we instruct the customer to keep the blob for a length of time varying from 30 minutes to a complete absorption 1 hour. Now, this is something that's been written at the very, very beginning when the Syringremover was still custom made, but it's not now. So basically, you've got a set of instructions which are published on this website, but this is actually not applying any longer. The longer the gel is kept on the lesion, the stronger the peeling effects, which is still true. Please note that TCA solutions bought from other sources do require the use of neutralizers after a certain length of time after the application, during the application. It is also very important not to stand upright when applying the blob. This is because gravity could have the blob to slip down to places where it shouldn't go. Therefore, we recommend to lie down at all times while you have the Syringremover blob on. In some cases, depending on where the Syringomas are located, lying down may not be the best option. Remember, as a general rule, that gravity has to point towards the Syringoma so that the blob will be naturally kept in place and not to slip elsewhere. So what I mean is that basically you've got to lie down. It's best for you to lie down so that if you apply a thick blob, it's not going to slip elsewhere. Because as you apply it on your Syringoma, your skin is a bit warm, so the gel becomes even thinner, so to speak, so it may actually cause some drips. We highly recommend having someone else to apply the Syringremover blob for you. If you have Syringoma on the upper eyelids, it is very important to keep your eyes shut over the length of the entire application. This is because if you accidentally open your eyelids, the blob could spread over areas where it should not go. Though basically this applies if your Syringoma is on your upper eyelids. So if you open them, it actually spread everywhere else. But that doesn't really matter. It's not that big deal. It's not a big deal because it's still a glycolic acid gel. Once again, it is important that you are not alone while you have the blob on, because the other person can supervise the cosmetic treatment and monitor whether the blob is still where it should be on the Syringoma. The other person will therefore help you by monitoring the gel and keep a clean cotton cloth at hand and make sure that the gel does not slip anywhere else. In case the gel escapes, the other person can wipe it off immediately. Also, given that most likely you need to keep your eyes shut during the peeling application with the Syringremover, the other person can help you in case you need anything like bringing you water or whatever else you may need. However, the other person can reduce the length of the cosmetic peel application and wipe the gel off at the right time as stated in the instructions. So before you use this product, read the instructions. They're all on our website, so you've got plenty of resources there. But if you're not sure, look at our contact page. You'll find our contacts in there. So many thanks for watching this video. Should you have more questions, you can actually go on our website first, and then you can contact us if you don't find the answer. Thank you very much for watching.